Right now on 10 News at 11.
He wants to take credit for Obama's work, but not have to answer to any questions.
Moments of tension in the third Democratic presidential debate. The emphatic statements by the candidates looking to break away from the pack.
Neighbors in the college area describe horrific noises coming from the house next door.
Not necessarily like screams, but like screeches, I guess, more like.
The facility's operator under arrest and charged with elder abuse. 10 News digs into the accusations.
Crews start pulling what's left of a boat out of a cave in Point Loma. The conditions that ripped that boat apart and why the crews are not done yet.
10 News begins with breaking news.
The heavy smell of natural gas is floating through a South Bay neighborhood tonight. Families getting ready for bed were instead forced to evacuate. Good evening. I'm Steve Atkinson.
And I'm Kimberly Hunt. 10 News reporter Anthony Pura is live near Otay Mesa. Anthony, they were worried about an explosion.
That's right, a possible explosion was the main concern tonight. Behind me, you can see the area where that natural gas leak was right here on Riviera Point. It's that area there marked by flags. Now, it wasn't windy tonight, so that gas was just sitting here, and any kind of spark could have caused an explosion or a house fire. SDG&E is here right now, and they have a handle on the situation. Crews were called out here just a little before 8:30. They say a city crew was working on a water line when they hit a 2-inch natural gas main. They evacuated 6 families. Another 11 homes were given orders to stay inside until they could get the area secured. Officials went door to door to give the families the order to stay in or to evacuate.
The repair is right next to our house, so there is a little bit of concern, but I mean, the amount of response that we have here and the gas company came out here pretty quick. So I think if there was more concern, we probably wouldn't be standing here right now. It would be further down the street.
Now, crews have been taking gas readings. About a half hour ago, they came up negative on those readings, so families were allowed back in. Their utilities should be turned on at this point tonight. We're reporting live here near Otay Mesa. Anthony Pura, 10 News.
Anthony, thank you. And more breaking news, this time out of Lakeside, where a water main break has opened up a big sinkhole there. Our photojournalist Paul Anderegg is live at our 10 News breaking news tracker with an update. Paul.
We're here on Cordial Road. Hope you can hear me. It's very loud as crews try to work to repair the damage done in the sinkhole right here that happened by a 16-inch water main that broke around 7 o'clock tonight. You can see the large hole in the ground, dirt and debris everywhere. They're going to be out here, they told us, all night repairing this. We are hearing that there are houses and people that are out of water. We don't know how many, but it sounds like a lot. Heartland Fire responded out here, was able to shut that down, but again, not before it did all this damage. You can see they're probably down there in about a 6 or 7 foot deep hole. We're going to stay out here and get more details and bring you more on 10 News this morning. Back to you.
And nobody's sleeping with all that noise, too. Thank you, Paul. We're going to stay on top of both breaking stories. You can track the very latest developments with the 10 News mobile app.
And whether promising to take away AR-15s or comparing health care plans, the Democratic presidential candidates fought for every inch in the third debate tonight.
But amid the verbal jabs, there were some moments that factually missed the mark. Our 10 News reporter Derek Stahl is in the live center fact-checking the candidates tonight. Derek.
Good evening. In the battle for face time, Joe Biden certainly came out on top. According to CNN, the former vice president had more than 17 minutes of speaking time. In fourth place, Bernie Sanders, just under 14 minutes. In seventh place, former HUD Secretary Julian Castro. I mentioned those 3 candidates because those 3 had moments that caught the attention of fact checkers.
The third Democratic debate dug in on policy, and at times, the candidates got a little loose with the facts.
Over 90% of the American people think we have to get assault weapons off the street.
According to PolitiFact, support for an assault weapons ban actually ranges from 56 to 70%. But in this exchange on health care...
Are you forgetting what you said 2 minutes ago?
Being for it.
Are you forgetting already what you said just 2 minutes ago?
ABC News says it was Julian Castro's memory that was off, not Biden's. On Medicare for All,
in the United States of America, we are spending twice as much per capita on health care as the Canadians or any other major country on earth.
Bernie Sanders is right about Canada, but not about other countries like Switzerland, Norway, and Germany. The 3-hour debate featured frequent jabs at President Trump.
We've got one shot to make Donald Trump a one-term president.
We have a white supremacist in the White House, and he poses a mortal threat to people of color all across this country.
He is treating our farmers and our workers like poker chips in one of his bankrupt casinos.
He didn't pull the trigger, but he's certainly been tweeting out the ammunition.
Kamala Harris took the most shots at Trump, mentioning him 11 times.
And here's how many times the other candidates mentioned Trump. If you thought Trump came up a lot tonight, actually his name came up less than the previous debate. So it came up a total of 35 times tonight, 72 times on night 2 of the last debate. In the Live Center, I'm Derek Stahl for 10 News.
All right, Derek, thank you. Protesters interrupted former Vice President Joe Biden as he was about to answer a question about a significant setback that shaped him.
Things that are unimportant.
Now, to viewers at home, it wasn't immediately clear what those protesters were saying, but ABC News has confirmed the group was chanting about DACA. The protesters interrupted Biden as he was about to discuss the death of his wife and daughter in a car crash years ago. The group was escorted out of the debate.
And political analyst John Dadian joined 10 News to watch tonight's debate. We asked him about Beto O'Rourke's outright declaration that he would take away AR-15s.
One of the keys that they say is you run for Democrats, you run to the left in the primary and you run to the center for the general. When you make comments like this in the primary, it's going to haunt you in the general if he were to be the nominee.
O'Rourke's statement was just one moment tonight that got cheers out of the crowd of people watching from University City. But despite some standout moments, these voters say that they aren't quite sure who to throw their support behind just yet.
If I could take a little bit from several of them and put them into one candidate, I'd be happy. But I'm not completely happy yet with one.
We do have comprehensive coverage of tonight's Democratic presidential debate on 10news.com. You can find the standout moments as well as the fact-checking of some serious topics. All right, this just in. Sheriff's deputies arrested a man that they say broke into an Imperial Beach woman's apartment and sexually assaulted her last week. The attack happened last Tuesday. Deputies say that Alfred Ruiz Sandoval got into the apartment on Hemlock Avenue. That's when the woman inside woke up and found a man touching her. We're told that he ran off. She called 911. Investigators believe the suspect got in by removing a screen from an open window.
We'll hear either not necessarily screams, but screeches, I guess, more like.
The screeches in the night were only part of the nightmare at an independent living home in the College area. The operator of the home was charged today with 22 counts ranging from elder abuse to theft. 10 News reporter Matt Boone spoke to neighbors and has pictures from inside the home.
Yeah, the city attorney's office found 11 people packed inside this home. Over the course of their 6-month investigation, what they found inside was disturbing.
Pictures from investigators show the conditions inside were squalid. City investigators found rooms filled with trash, mattresses covered with bed bugs, cockroaches, and rodent feces. Faulty pipes spewed toxic gases into the home. Neighbors say they knew something was wrong.
My back door to my room opens up to the backyard, and a lot of times I'd leave it open and I'd hear either yelling or just random noises that you could tell were being made by a human, but were someone was in distress a lot of times.
Brian Pagao lives around the corner. He says one night he was walking with his friends David and Will when they found a man passed out in front of the home.
We almost tripped off him, actually.
Yeah, right behind us, actually. We almost tripped over him.
The city attorney says 11 people lived inside. 9 of them were elderly or unable to care for themselves. One of them was found naked in a trash-filled room and had to be taken to the hospital. The man who operated the facility is Mark Rogers. He was charged with 22 misdemeanor crimes, ranging from elder abuse to operating without a license. The complaint says he was also cited for unpermitted structures in the backyard and forced some of the residents to help with the demolition and repairs. The city is currently paying for the residents to be moved to appropriate housing.
We support the whole idea of having a rehab facility, a good in between, but it has to be implemented correctly.
Yeah, it has to be ran right.
Now, Rogers has been released. He's also been ordered to give up all of his firearms to the police department. If convicted of all these charges, he faces 11.5 years in prison. Reporting in the College area, Matt Boone, 10 News.
A postal worker is in the hospital with major injuries after getting hit by a car in National City, and the whole thing was caught on camera. We do want to warn you, the video is a little hard to watch. Now, that postal worker was standing outside of his truck on Highland Avenue this afternoon. That's when that car plowed into him. A group of Good Samaritans jumped in to help. They say the driver of the car had a seizure and his leg was stuck on the accelerator. The rescuers were able to stop the engine and back up that car. First responders shortly arrived and took both men to the hospital.
A vigil will be held tomorrow to remember the life of a 15-year-old who died after jumping off Sunset Cliffs. Anthony Womack's uncle says that his nephew wasn't the best swimmer, so when Womack jumped off the cliffs with a group of friends, he quickly went underwater. Divers searched for nearly an hour before they found him. Lifeguards gave CPR to the teenager as he was brought to the rocky cliffs, but he later died at the hospital.
He was a church-going young man. He was a great brother, a great grandson.
Womack was the youngest of 3 and had dreams of playing football for Sweetwater Union High School. The vigil will be held at Sunset Cliffs at 6 p.m. tomorrow night.